You're listening to Polymatic.media, episode 112 for March 2024. Welcome to the Polymaticast. Hey, John, how's it going?
Tired.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
I've been chasing a delivery for like at least the last 4 days.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
It's super annoying.
The treadmill? Is that
Yeah.
what it was? Yeah, okay.
It's been a bit of a hassle.
I
ordered it like almost 2 weeks ago now, and said, "Oh yeah, we can deliver it like in a week."
In the last
Because
home situation,
I could make an appointment.
I thought, all right, I should get one of those. And I certainly, before I bought the house, I had way more liquidity sitting around for things like
that. $200. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. The ones
it was a cheap one. I deliberately got a cheap one, but I wanted to have it like delivered on Friday evening. I was like, okay, I'll be home. Give me this time slot. So they don't send it out until Thursday, and then it has to come from Germany to Netherlands and then be delivered. And apparently they didn't consider it. Then yesterday it was going to be delivered again, and they said, let's put it up. We're gonna deliver it today between 4 and 9 in the evening. And at 9 it said, oh wait, there was a disruption. We're delivering it on Monday.
Okay.
So I get to enjoy another evening of waiting on a fucking package.
I had looked at these things in the past, and I knew getting a treadmill was a thing that you need to have like a dedicated gym or room or something for. And these things are big behemoth things, and they could, be a couple $1,000s. And certainly I used them when I would go to the gym, right? When I had a gym membership. So then I heard about these, what they call city walkers or city treadmills, which are small little things you can push underneath the bed or whatever it is that people have in their apartments. So they could have a treadmill and walk and, work and get exercise.
Yeah, so that's basically the idea. Yeah. I'm putting it below my desk.
Yeah. So those are great, and I'd sort of bookmarked a couple, but I knew them to be much pricier than a couple $100. Now, you're saying euros, right? You're not saying, US dollars. So
yeah, 200 euros-ish.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's like the same, almost the same, right?
No. I know them to be much more expensive, but I have a friend of mine who has a well-formed opinion about it because he's gone through a couple of these, and so I said when I get there, I'll ask him for a recommendation, and he'll tell me what
I'm pretty sure in like 2 or 3 months I will have burned through it and need a new one.
Okay.
This is just the first test. If I like it, I will buy a better one.
When I go into the office, there is a guy who likes to walk, and we do that at lunchtime for about 45 minutes to an hour, and we talk, right? So it's good. It's sort of get to talk about things, and you walk, and it doesn't feel like much of anything, and I can get 2,000 steps in. I get like 5 miles in, a few miles in, like 2-3 miles in that 45 minutes. So I could get somewhere around 10 miles a week if I come in all week, and both of us are available to go walk and talk.
Not a lot of steps.
It's not a lot of steps, but it's more exercise than the half mile I do at best in the house.
Yeah. So that's my whole idea too. Either I get this one and I like it and I move it to the office, and then I put it below my desk at the office, or I get a better one at home so I can do my my coding for my own stuff at home. And that's about that's the plan at least. I saw a video from Electro Boom, who was apparently had some issues with his treadmill.
Did he take it apart?
Yeah, several times. I think he replaced a belt and a motor, and he was messing with it, and YouTubers things.
Right.
breaking things.
I also know he films things intentionally, right? That's what you see. And I've seen him where he's like, "Oh yeah, and I do this," and then he shows you the behind the scenes. He's like,
I think the
"No, what I
problem
did
was
is I
that
cut
his
this together with this, and I did this, and I did these two separate things." And so in the edit, it looks like I'm doing something stupid, but he's not. He's being safe about it. So, but he's also a little more prone to shock himself and other people because he's used to it. So,
so his video from 7 days ago was
yeah.
getting in shape by a sketchy treadmill over 1 year.
Oh wow.
So I was like, okay. I ordered this one like 2 days before this video came out. I was like, crap.
Yeah, that's what my friend Brent was
So
talking
his
about.
so I think his problem was that he had a ground connection that was not correctly done. So that was causing him to get zapped, and he was also not using wireless headsets. He was not using a wireless headset, so he kept getting zapped because he plugged straight into the laptop. And then when he was walking on the belt, he was basically a Van der Graaf generator.
Static, yeah. Yeah.
And he was like zap, zap, zap.
Yeah. So my friend Brent, that I finally named him, but I didn't name him a few minutes ago. He said, yeah, there's lots of sketchy ones out there that are really inexpensive. And he's like, you should. And he started going down a thing. As like, you know what, dude, when I'm ready, I will take a look, do my research, and I'll ask you for some opinions. He's like, okay, cool. Because he's very techie thing. He
Yeah,
does
but
a lot of techie
I think just getting one and seeing if it is for you, even though you might have a bad experience with that particular one.
When I was in the gym, I used to walk on the treadmill for an hour, and it was good to get some exercise. But I had to remove myself from my situation, go drive a little bit, go to a place, and
yeah, this is why I don't want to do that. That's why I get one from
right
under my desk.
So that's what I'm saying is I know a treadmill is for me. That's not a real issue. I will say though, the normal ones that are in the gym, the way I used to, I'm not really an athlete, but I had some athletic things I was good at when I was in school, and running was really one of them. Now I don't have long legs, but I'm a sprinter at best. So the treadmill used to always make me uneasy because my running style is to sprint, not to power walk. And that's what I ended up doing because I knew that if I started sprinting on it, I feel like I was going to get flung back. And so I just didn't do that that often. Most of the time I power walked. So I can power walk like 4 or 5 miles an hour on a treadmill. So I know a treadmill is for me, and I should get one. And I don't think I need a big old beast of a one, but I think one of those city walkers or something is probably fine.
They also have like foldable ones when you can just put them away, which is kind of cool because you can just fold it, leave it under your desk, but like fold it away.
Yeah,
and just use a standing desk. Do you have a sit standing desk?
I do, but I keep it at a certain height, and I'm happy with it. I literally don't ever stand and do things. I sit.
You have so much space in that house, man.
Oh, I got a lot of room. I realize a lot that, if I made this upstairs my bedroom, aside from it having like an ensuite bathroom, it's like 800 square feet up here. Because of the way the ceiling is, it's maybe like 700 square feet up here. No, that's not true. It's more like 650, I think.
I don't know freedom units.
Okay, well,
imagining feet and inches and things is like I'm not used to that.
Yeah, hold on. I'll tell you what it is in meters.
I don't need to know.
Point is, there's a lot of room up here, and while I intend to do like podcast stuff, all right. See, now I'm putting it in. Sorry.
I'm cutting all of this.
I know.
So what's the use?
Okay, so about 60 square meters up here.
Okay.
Which is, for a single room is pretty big.
Yep.
Yeah. So I could put the thing is, I could put a couch over there. I can put the other 8-foot table that I plan to buy with chairs, and still put some small little love seat couches over there, and still have plenty of room in here.
Listeners, for the record, I cannot see what he's pointing at.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So he's
But
like, "Oh, put it over there, put it over there."
Yeah. But also, you've seen pictures of the room, so it's big enough. And while I could take over a bedroom and turn it into the exercise room, air quotes exercise room, and put a treadmill in there, and listen to music and walk and be a little more productive.
I think for me, just having a like a desk with like one of the treadmills below it and just walking while I'm doing some other stuff, I think will be valuable, not just for like, also for like getting stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
Because my immediate action would be to be a potato.
Yeah.
And I think that is a bad situation. So I'm trying to move.
I would say for me, it's not so much to be walking on a treadmill while I'm through my workday, as much as it would be breaking the habit of rewatching all of Orville and sitting on my ass and just enjoying that in the evening. Instead, walk for an hour and earn my right to sit around for another hour, 90 minutes before I go to bed to watch some Orville. Right? Instead of marathoning through a season on my weekend, it would be good for me to go, even if I don't want to go outside.
But you can watch Orville while you walk.
Right. Could do that too. Right. And so that would be way more productive than me just sitting on my butt and going, oh, I need some chips. So now I need some popcorn, and now I need to eat some dinner, and be a couch potato. So
meanwhile, I'm waiting on my treadmill still. So yeah, fun times.
Anyhow, I understand.
Screw you, Amazon.
Yeah. Not such a problem here. Not as much of a problem here, I should say.
No, I don't think it's Amazon's problem. I think it's DHL's, which is kind of the problem.
Got it. Yeah.
Anyway, I also got a new laptop.
Okay.
I bought a MacBook Air with 8 gigs of memory instead of 16, because that's what they had. So, yeah. So far, I like it. It's an M2, and it's really fast, and it's really nice. And it's,
is that 8 gigs you gonna regret that?
Don't know. I don't really use it that much for like development stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it's mostly for like doing social stuff for artwork and things like that.
Oh, then that should be fine.
And some light development stuff,
mm-hmm.
like building websites and stuff for myself and other people.
Yeah.
So that's fun. And I also got a new 3D printer, which is the Ender 3 V3. So cheap one.
Yeah.
And it works fine. I love it. The setup was super easy, and just finding the slicer settings is kind of hard because the patterns, the profiles for them are not really readily available yet. So the one I usually use Cura for slicing because I like it. It works really nice for me, and I have the settings for the old Ender 3 in there. And fine-tuning the slicer settings is kind of annoying, so but that works too. It's good. I got a new laptop, and I put the Cura on there for the Ender 3.
Yeah.
And I think the it was a good move because the old Mac was an Intel Mac still. And it was kind of getting slow. Well, not slow, but like it was getting there. I was starting to notice the difference between an Intel and an ARM Mac in speed, because I don't know. I think something changed in the Mac in the operating system, so they probably are like throttling them a little bit.
Yeah, there are things like this that happen that you go like, you can't prove it. Well, I mean, if you want to spend enough time, you can. I noticed this about cell phones in the U.S. on the major carriers. There's something like that that's been happening, and even when there was the time you could replace your battery with a new one, it was going out of its way to extra, throttle. And it was always the same exact contractual timing. And then when I flipped to a stock that was off carrier, the big carrier, never had one of those problems. I've had this phone for like several years.
I can't see the phone.
I know, but I've had the Pixel 6 for several years, and until I broke my Pixel 1, I had that for like 3-4 years, never a problem. And then same thing with the Pixel 2, never a problem, no slowness, nothing. None of that, oh, you're close to 18 months where your contract where we give you a free upgrade. And no, none of that stuff. And yeah, so there's lots of little things like that happen.
Yeah, usually you get a phone with a contract here. You get like a phone loan, basically. So you buy a phone through a contract, and you pay it off during your contract. You get like a pretty okay deal on the price of the phone. Usually, it's usually cheaper than buying it straight from the provider.
Yeah,
but then I pay off the loan.
Right.
Early.
Well, like I said, even when you could, way back in the day, you could buy brand new batteries and swap them out. It would still create the same exact behavior. It would just take a few days before it start kicking in. And I was like, I know it's not the battery. I know it's not the battery. And I know I'm not crazy. And then there is always particular software that the carriers must install on the ROM. But surprisingly not on my Pixel. And then I can continue to have the same phone for many years without a contract and not a problem. Yeah, well, you're showing, is that's the
new MacBook.
It's because it's dark, so I'm so used to the being that sort of space silver.
Yeah, it's the blue midnight thingy.
Oh, okay.
I like it, and I got a cool sticker.
Yeah, I never did that. Well, I did that with one. I never stickered my laptops up.
For the record, this is a duck, small duck, with a knife. I like putting stickers on my laptop. It gives them some, personality, I guess. It's not like I'm trying to tell you, I'm really into ducks with knives, but it's fun.
Duck
so
you.
I bought like a bunch of stickers on Etsy last week, and they're starting to arrive. I hope some of them will arrive today, because they
every time I get stickers from something or somebody, I just put them into a sandwich bag. I have a whole bunch of them. And even for the club, like, I have some stickers that we make up, we give with the swag boxes. But like, I get it, but I don't get it, And there's at least one person who, she makes these great stickers, and I love watching her videos because you see her drawing them and stuff like that. And she has fun personality, and she has like a sticker pack of pasta. And her personality is pretty funny, so she's sort of funny in general. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I drew some nudes," and then you see her little noodle characters and stuff like that, and they're funny. And I was like, I would love to buy some of this stuff, but what would I do with that?
Like, I laptop.
I won't. I will never do that. I just can't. I did it to my one old laptop. I stickered it up, and then I was like, nah, I don't like that sticker anymore, or that brand anymore. And then it'd be a pain to peel it off. And
I wouldn't put like
sticker.
Brand stickers on there.
Yeah.
I usually have like from artist friends or stuff like that. I have stickers like that on there.
I used to buy a lot of stuff from ThinkGeek, so I had a ton of the monkey and the ThinkGeek stickers.
No.
And I think I stuck it on my mini fridge. Yeah, I had my mini fridge, and I just stuck it all in the mini fridge because, like, what do I do with this? Like, I want to toss them out, but, like, what do I do with that? So I stuck them on my mini fridge, and I stuck them on that one laptop, and then I go, yeah, stickering things is not for me.
I also gave my MacBook Pro 16 gigs of memory laptop to my aunt.
Yeah, okay. With
She
with some weird stickers all over it.
no, I removed the stickers.
Oh, okay.
It's actually the reason I had to rebuy some of the stickers because the
Oh,
glue came off.
okay.
The glue was still on the laptop, so I had to clean the laptop with alcohol and stuff. So,
Oh, yeah, okay. Because that must have been a pain.
oh, it was
Yeah.
super pain. Yes.
Yeah. That's why I don't sticker up your laptop.
Well, if there's enough stickers on there, you can just take it off as like one big mat of
I
stickers.
mean, you could also put it like a solid color D brand sticker or something on, and then you can peel them all off at once.
Yeah, that could be a good idea. But then I'd have to take these stickers off again, and I don't want to do that. It's fine. I like it as it is. I like the blue, the dark blue
Yeah.
color of the laptop. It's really nice.
Yeah.
And the keyboard is nice as well. As I was used to the butterfly switches, the atrocious, super bad switches with the touch bar or something like that from
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
with the escape key being a not physical key as a
Right.
developer is a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Like whoever came up with that idea needs to be fired or shot into the sun or something.
Hmm.
That was the worst. The
I
the
mean,
the,
I
the
get the
keyboard.
idea of a touch bar to be useful, but them doing that with the escape key, that was just stupid.
Yeah, but the keys themselves, like they wanted to make the keys thinner, but then the MacBooks were not thinner. And they tried to do the touch bar and
Isn't that the same year they did that,
yeah,
where we put the haptic feedback in the mouse and the keys or something?
what do
Maybe
you
not
mean?
the keys, the mouse. The touchpad had like haptic feedback. There was something like
Okay, but that's not a
three-dimensional.
mouse. That's a touchpad.
But I
Yeah, but they do that because there's no longer a click. Yes, but they
right,
still do that.
but I'm saying is they were adding layers of technology to it where they needed the height.
They took their stuff that they use for phones, the touch stuff with like the 3D touch they had on the iPhone,
Yeah,
and they stuck it into the laptops. So
right
there was
under
a
the touchpad.
yeah. So there was one laptop that was having like firmware issues, and then it stopped registering touches. Well, it registered the touches. It just didn't give any feedback. Yeah, and it was like it's such a weird feeling because you think you're actually clicking something, but you really aren't. Like you don't notice that it is not actually clicking down. And on the one hand, it's like, oh, that's probably easier because you don't have to like deal with like a flexing mechanism at all because you're just doing touch sensitivity, right? Or pressure sensitivity
Hmm.
instead of like the you know the actual you're moving stuff down like
Yeah,
the old touch pads.
the I guess the Lenovo I had. So what they had that little mechanical depress or whatever it was,
Hmm.
as a part of the touchpad, it would flex. So what they did is if you did it to the left or you did it to the right, that was the left or right click.
Yeah.
And then eventually they moved to, having like physical buttons, and eventually just sort of moved them to the click areas, but nothing ever moved, right? You were just depressing down onto a solid, surface.
I like the touchpad on the Macs. They're really nice compared
Yeah.
to other Macs, other PC laptops.
I would say the one on my really old, wow, how old is that? I think 7 years old now. My 7-year-old laptop, the Dells were always pretty good. Never
Mm.
really had any issue with it. The Lenovo's were always pretty good. Um, I can't say that was always true about everything, but for the most part, I've had pretty good touchpad experiences on not Macs. It's been fine. So
Well, I've had this the previous MacBook for like 6 or 7 years.
yeah,
So and it was still good, still nice. The only problem was that the keyboard is horrible. I don't like it at all. And the the touch bar. It's just insanely stupid idea. And I think like at some point they're just gonna abandon that technology. They have already abandoned it, so
Well,
they
they
don't sell
got
them
rid of
anymore.
it because everyone complained about it, and I think
Yes,
the
because
next
it's a
model they
stupid
put it
idea.
back, right? Yeah.
It's a stupid idea. Same with like the was it, I think it was Asus or Acer. They had like this double screen laptop with like
Asus
a
did that, the Duo Zen or something like
yeah
that.
with they have like
A
a
big secondary
screen
screen.
above
Yeah.
the keyboard
Yeah.
basically.
I looked at maybe buying one of those at some
Oh
point.
no.
They were such a difficult thing to get during the pandemic. My biggest complaint has always been if I am on the go and I want to be able to edit or something, I'm so used to needing more screen real estate. And well, you can get a 4K screen, but when I'm doing video editing, I need actually surprisingly these monitors are big enough. I don't need more than one of these 34-inch monitors to do my video editing. That's plenty. But on a laptop screen, it's not great. And this is where I recognize the value add of the Vision Pro, right? Where if you're on a plane or something, that could be valuable under that scenario. But outside of that, when you need more real estate, like that's great, and you don't have to have it physically have more real estate. You just virtually have more real estate, and that can be really useful.
But spending
But
like $3,500 for
but yeah,
a
no, not for that purpose. No.
for like a
But
first gen thing that Apple is gonna abandon like the first few weeks.
so someone did come out, and I don't think it really got updated in the last few years. Someone came out with a keyboard that had a screen situation like that plus the keyboard, and you could it's like $400 or something. They had a couple versions of it. They were both had the screen. One was a little more advanced for whatever it was, and had something like that where it had that. It was in the keyboard though, instead of it being as a part of your laptop. I can see a value add on the go situation for something like that. Now, since then, people have come out with like things you can latch on and you can, have extra monitors and whatever it is, on the go. I don't know. I want to be slugging around a whole bunch of gear for that.
That's why I like the thing because you can just hook up your iPad. They have like the tablet thing. You can hook up your
Right.
your iPad to your Mac and just have an extra screen.
I
And even
bought,
use it as like one of the drawing tablet.
I bought one of these like inexpensive Asus external, like screens you can latch on.
Oh.
The problem is it wasn't very bright. It
And they
wasn't
also
a cheap
use like
panel.
a ton of CPU power because they're basically just doing the rendering through the CPU.
Well, it's like through the display link. But the other problem is where do you hang it? And it's like it's not going to be level. It's not going to be in line with. And again, everyone's come out with a bunch of weird mechanisms you can slap on your laptop now. But back then they just didn't have that, and it had its own like little leather portfolio case, and it was just it didn't work. It didn't work.
Yeah. Display link. Speaking of bad technology, display link. Whenever
Okay.
you hook, like I had this when the first M1s came out, it only supported one monitor,
Mm-hmm.
external monitor, but you could install display link and have a display link adapter, and you could hook up 3 monitors.
Yeah.
And display link is so freaking buggy, and it crashed all the time. It was super annoying.
Oh, so on my PCs, I always use that so like I had a job that was where they were really not taking care of developers with any real gear. I eventually complained to to the right people in the right way, where when they finally were willing to spend some money to refresh the laptops, they're like, "All right, Alan, give us specs." And I said, "Yeah, this one." And which was a real workstation laptop with a lot of power on it. But the way I got by to connect up to the multiple monitors that like they were LCD, but they were, they weren't great. They had all kinds of old connectors and crap on them. They were, they just spent an extra $5. They could have gotten the better version, at a corporate level, but no. No, no. When they buy 10 of them, they save themselves $50. So managers chose the one that was less expensive, and of course they had not all the right connectors on it. And so I was like, I'm gonna buy a bunch of display link things, and that's what I did. And that's how I got my multi-monitor stuff at work on these crappy laptops. You didn't have the right hardware, and they worked out fine for me. So, yeah.
Have you dived into hell for democracy yet?
No, I recognize this is your next obsession for a while.
Yeah, I got through the first training thing, and I was like, okay, do I want to play this right now? Do I have enough time? No, I do not. So, yeah, and I've been busy with artwork all week, so I don't really haven't played it yet. I've watched a couple of play sessions from people, and so far it seems like a good game. I do recognize the underlying message of like, hey, maybe are we the bad people? Are we the bad guys? There's that show. What's it called? They had like he said there was like a TV show from the UK where there was like they had like some Nazis in there, and they were like, are we the baddies?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm pretty sure. Like I'm almost convinced that the people there, the hell divers themselves, are the bad people.
Yeah,
yeah, and it looks like a fun game to play. And the thing that I noticed, or rather what I read, is that it's based on a very old engine from Autodesk. So I didn't even know that Autodesk made like 3D game engines. This is insane. Yeah, I really like. I really want to play it. I just need to find the time.
well, I mean the game engines are just basically a rendering engine with some dev tools, right? And so the people that ventured off to do something that, because it used to be Autodesk was the only one outside of like Silicon Graphics or something, or was it Rayman was another one, outside of some specialized ones that were meant for industry. They were the only ones doing anything. And so that's where Unreal came around. And what was the other one? Unity? Is it Unity?
But for like an old engine, this looks really good. The game looks really good.
Yeah.
And it plays really well, even on older hardware, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, it makes sense. If it was an older game engine, it was optimized for that platform, probably more likely.
But I tried to play it on, I think it was yesterday, and I hooked up my board to the audio, and then there were people, and I was like messing with selecting the buttons for push to talk, and I went into a game, and immediately I heard people on the other side with like messing with their audio at the same time. Like you would hear like the game sound coming through the audio. I'm like, okay, I really need to play this with people who also know how to deal with audio, because this is going to be insane if I have to deal with this shit. These people are, it's like
the worst.
Oh, it's like you could hear the game music coming through, and like psh, 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 psh. And there's like coughing and all sorts of stuff. I'm like, okay.
Most people get a
Please
USB
turn on push to talk. It's not that hard.
And they just, they get their cheap headset, they plug it in the USB, and that's it. That's all they do.
Yeah. Okay. So you bought something new?
So I didn't buy new. It was gifted to me over the holiday. And
nice gift.
So I say this, not that I don't have many listen, but like over the years, I used to be the one who gift probably slightly more expensive value things because I thought it was the right gift. And I definitely made sure to slow my roll on that as now my expenses have gone up. So I've been a little bit more creative about it. And I noticed in the last couple of years, some of my friends, I guess, are finally I guess life is balancing out for them because now they're giving me good gifts. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm not used to someone giving me something that's a few $100, right?
Hmm.
So my friend Vic, look, my birthday's at the end of the year too. So, it's like a holiday plus birthday gift. And so I don't know. I would always gift him a little above average cost of things because he's like me. Gadgety stuff is more what works for us, not just like another mug or another T-shirt. Um, so he gave me a Stream Deck Plus, and I thought, I don't need it because I was like, well, you went and bought it right away, but I was like, I'm not gonna buy it. I don't really need it. That was what I was doing when I moved in here and it came out. I was like, oh, I don't really need it. And now that he gifted to me, I've hooked that thing up and I use it. It's good.
Yeah, I
Uh,
really like the knobs at the bottom for like audio stuff, and for
mm-hmm.
like you can use the touch screen like to turn stuff off and on and stuff, and you can swipe on the touch screen to move to between different pages.
Yeah, you call it touchscreen. You mean touch bar.
Yeah, well, this is a touch screen.
So yeah, no, it's pretty useful. I'm not like 100% utilizing it. I'm using it in a couple ways. I have set up because I know what the keys are, and I put a bunch of custom things in Audacity that I use, and I'm just used to going to the keyboard and doing things. But
Mm.
now I've set up some buttons and stuff for that to run those hotkeys, those macros. So I have a page for that, and I have another page that I spent like $35 and found somebody who had a whole bunch of things for Adobe stuff, but mainly Premiere and After Effects. But I loaded up those presets, so I have that when I'm editing. If I want to create a new sequence or a new bin, like I don't have to go. Now I'm so used to doing that physically, just knowing where to go, and I just do it without thought. But if I want to jog or shuttle, but again, I'm used to shift control and the wheel mouse, right? So I'm conditioned to knowing the other way. I don't need a big old, dial anymore, and I have a little one I can, use there, and it's great. And it's great that I have all that preset stuff, but I use like a 2% of those macros it has in there. That's really nice. So I've been using it, and I'm glad that I have it. Under any circumstance, if money wasn't a concern, I probably already bought it already. So it's what I'm putting into use, and so it's been really useful
Mm.
to have around. I appreciate it. So,
Mm. And you said something about Home Assistant.
oh
Now,
yeah,
before you go on your rant,
yep.
I've been looking at getting a Raspberry Pi 5 with and installing like a Home Assistant on there,
Mm-hmm.
and then hooking up my Hue light bulbs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I've been looking into that, but the whole market of like, oh, you have to get this specific thing.
You
Mm,
don't. You just get yourself a Raspberry Pi 5. I think at this point they probably have a build for it. You just go get yourself that $30 Sky Connect.
mm,
That's it. That's all you need. That has all the radios that you're going to need to get started. If you don't want to buy a Pi to do that, for $100 they have the green. The green is basically doesn't have all the stuff, doesn't have all the RAM, doesn't have NVMe in it. So, but it has the basic, here's a Home Assistant, go buy a $30 Sky Connect. You got all the stuff that you need.
yeah,
Um, I got the yellow, so I have a board that has NVMe in it, so I could do more things with it on that, on the Home Assistant if I want. So
yep. Well, I'm considering getting like just a Raspberry Pi 5 with like 8 gigs of memory, so I can also run some other stuff on it.
mm-hmm.
Because just Home Assistant, like, it's not going to be that intensive, right? I think you
uh,
need like 2 gigs of memory for it. I think.
yeah, but it depends on if you want to start rigging up voice assistants. Right now, they're
I
starting to
don't.
work on Edge
I will
stuff.
not.
But if you have to have it do any kind of compile and compute, there's also add-ins for like Jellyfin and Plex and a whole bunch of other little things
That's
that
what
you
I have a
can.
NAS for.
Right. Okay. Well,
So yeah, the I'm using it for the basic stuff because I want to get rid of the Hue hub thing because I don't like the way they're going at it. I like their lights.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Hue Zigbee.
So
I'll just hook up the lights through Zigbee to Home
I
Assistant.
guess my Home Assistant stuff is detects the bridge and away I go. Right. There's just a bridge with some blue lights that just sits in my bedroom and that's it. That's the end of it.
I think they're considering moving. I think what they're doing is moving the bridge to. You need an account for it. Well, they usually didn't, and now they're going to require an account at some point.
Oh, interesting.
And I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with that shit.
A lot of the
I will
new
just
ones,
move to something that's hosted in my own house. I don't
a
need to
lot of
turn off
the
the lights
new
from outside my
bulbs
house.
have Bluetooth, and I don't know if any of the new ones have Matter yet, but they have Bluetooth and Zigbee on them so that you could action it by Bluetooth if you want through that. It's not ever going to be as proficient. You're not going to get as much entity reads and stuff like off of it. So if you do it that way.
Well, I can just use Zigbee.
Right. Or you could do that as well.
Works fine. Okay,
For
so
me,
you
for
bought some
me-
stuff for Home Assistant?
Yeah, so when I was in the last house, I had some fans I wanted to be able to. I in the past I bought these Vornado fans, right? And they're usually a mechanical switch or something on it, and turns it on, turns it off, right? And they're great. So I was like, oh, I'll get one of these Wi-Fi plugs, smart plugs, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I found something that wasn't godly expensive, like Philip Hughes ones or whatever it was. And I got some of those, and it was I don't know. It worked with the Amazon stuff, and it was fine, but it didn't work with anything else. Maybe the Google stuff would pick it up, but Home Assistant wouldn't know about it, right? So I found a brand that is supported on Home Assistant and also all the other things, right? So I got a couple Sonoff switches, and I finally, I don't know what I was waiting for. It didn't cost a lot. I bought a couple of them, and they have power meeting on them as well. So I can get entity read stuff off that too, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's one of the things I would like to do. Have some power meters in my house, but the problem is that it comes with like an on-off feature, which is something I don't want. I want the meter to power. I just don't want it to be able to turn things off.
So what you can do is there's Shelly. So you can get Shelly stuff that you can put in your actual physical switches. You don't have to turn them on, but most of them come with power, PM power metering in there, right? And so what you can do is you can wire that into your switches for your outlets. So you can not only automate it is out as natural, but you just add a mechanism that loops through on the switch, and it provides all that stuff. And they literally, you don't replace your switch, your wall switch. It goes into that switch.
I mean, like for like power outlets.
Yes, but what I'm saying
But I
is
don't want things to turn off my power outlet while I'm saving a file.
Right. Okay, I got you.
But I want to measure the power usage.
Right. So that's what I'm telling you. There's a brand called Shelly. They're a brand out of the UK, but they make stuff for Europe and the US. And you can get that stuff, and you can definitely monitor that stuff with Home Assistant. They're Home Assistant compatible. I haven't bought a lot of them because I want to put a lot of them in, but you put them into your wall switches, and they add that ability to automate if you want. It doesn't require you to have a smart plug hanging out off your outlet of your wall. It just goes into your switch. They're meant to be, they're tiny little things, and they add the power metering in there too. And it's compatible with Home Assistant, so you can log everything.
But they are also switches, right?
They're relays.
Yeah. So I don't want a relay in between.
Well, I'm sure
I don't want there to be a chance that I say turn off the lights and it turns off everything like I've already had done before. So I've lived through this with one of these guys. I'm holding a Hue power
Okay, but in the
relay
case of
thing.
the Shelly, you don't have to tell your Google device or your Amazon device that it exists. You can just do that with Home Assistant if you want. But point being is, you don't have to use that feature, but you can get the power metering off of it. I'm sure they have a power metering only version of it, but most of the ones now they're meant to be for like turning on and off things, but also they have the power metering features built in.
Yeah. I'm thinking of like maybe finding one of those things and just opening it up and removing or just hot wiring the relay.
Probably
Just
not a wise idea.
eh. I went to school for this kind of stuff, so I think I can do it.
For a lot of cases, it is the more expensive option. You want to put the bulbs in, but there's definitely in my kitchen, for example, because there's ducting and venting that goes outside the house above the kitchen. Not that you would know it. He couldn't put hi-hats in where I could put Hue stuff in. He had to put these flat pack LED lights, and they're great. They're bright. They're wonderful, but you got to trigger them with the wall switch, right? And so for things like that, it would be valuable for me to put a couple of those power metering devices in. Now, I have a basement and a panel, and if I really wanted to spend a lot of money, I could put like a smart panel in and go crazy, but I'm not going to, and I don't have that money right now, so I'm not looking to replace my whole electric panel with a smart one.
Yeah. So the one of the worst parts about this is like there's some energy meters, but they all require you to hook up to an account and do the stuff through them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's stuff I don't want. Like I
So
don't want it to be,
Shelly is local, so you can trigger it all the ways. So
yeah.
and they're really good. And I know when I have Doug come in, I'm gonna have I need to pull the panels off and see. Okay, I see 3 switches, but is it one box of 3 switches, or is it, and I can buy one relay that can handle all 3, but I just have to know what I'm buying before I buy it. And when there could be $60 a pop or something for a large relay, like it gets expensive fast. So, but the advantage of doing it at the switch level versus at the panel level is that the power goes from the panel and gets distributed. But if I do it at the switch level, at least I know I have metering on each node, right? So I have a little bit more precision of understanding the power flow.
Yeah.
So in the case of the Sonoffs, they have power metering on it. So I have them connected to these LED lights I have in here. Because I want a little more in this room. It's large enough that there's lights here in the ceiling, but I want more light when I'm working. And I have a bunch of these extra LED panels that I have around, and I wired them all up. So when I turn on stuff, it literally, you can't see it because the camera's not on, but you can see that it's giving me extra overhead bounce light. And now I can control it with Home Assistant, but also I have it logging all the power and the power management stuff, the power metering, so I can see how much wattage and throughput and stuff that I'm pulling on it through it.
I have the Google Home stuff set up, so I can control my lights through Google.
Yeah,
and I can turn off the lights here.
This is the only area where I think they didn't do a great job. Well, it does a pretty good job of recognizing all the stuff just as well as the Amazon stuff does. Their solution isn't great, and I never used it. I had a much better integration and tooling experience with the Amazon solution. That's why I use it.
Yeah.
And
then there's I think there's like one of these switches over here that I can.
Yeah, I never did anything with those buttons, those like wireless switches. I never did anything like that.
Well, these are not wireless. They're plugs. Go into
right, I understand, but I never got like the Hue switch buttons or whatever it was.
Yeah, I have those too.
You could stick to your wall and add extra. No, I never did any of that. I most of the time I use my voice, and if I feel compelled not to, I have my phone with me anyways. I just pull it out and I open up that, or I can control it through the Home Assistant stuff too.
Yeah,
Uh,
I like the having the switches because I can either turn them on by pressing the switch, or it was just at first it was kind of annoying because I was used to just using the buttons on the wall.
mm-hmm.
But eventually I just put some tape on the original switches, so they're not moving anymore.
It wasn't too hard for me to break those habits. So I still have some physical switches that I in this house, and like I said, I'll put the Shellys on them and I'll sort of replace them. I also the default lights that came with the house for all the rooms, with the exception to what's over my counter and what's over my, I guess the other counter, basically the two for the kitchen. I'll leave those alone. The three that are downstairs, and the four that are in the bedrooms, basically. I'm gonna swap out. Here, I had the electrician not put flat pack lights up here. I had him put hi hats because there's ceiling height up here, on the third floor, and so I put my hue lights in there. I bought new hue lights. I didn't get color ones. I just put normal ones in, because at that point when you're buying like 20, 30 lights all over the place, it gets super expensive real fast with these hue lights. So I don't get power metering from the lights, but at some point I might throw a bunch of the Shelly relays into all the switches, and I'll have the electrician do it, and at some point I will learn how to do it myself, and then I'll do it safely, for a lot of them, and I will likely replace those 6 lights I talked about, and then I'll put them in with the Shelly relays so that when I say turn the kitchen on, that it will turn those also switches on too, which will activate those lights. The good use case for me is the light that is at my front door. It's not like a normal hi-hat. It's like one of these flat pack LED lights. So I can't replace the bulb. It is its own thing, and so I need to put one of those Shelly relays in the switch, so I can control. So I could say, turn the front door on, so I don't have to walk all the way downstairs. If DoorDash is going to drop something off, I can do it from up here. So
what did you get for Home Assistant?
what do you mean? What did I get for Home Assistant?
Oh, you said something about Home Assistant, so you wanted to talk about something for Home Assistant.
That was it. We just talked about it.
Oh, the Shelly things.
Oh no, the Sonoff, the smart plugs. Basically.
Okay.
I replaced the GoSun with the Sonoff, and it's interesting as a brand. They're like, yeah, we have a really core goal to be compatible with everything, including Home Assistant. Where you go to GoSun or you go to GoV or you go to Philips Hue, and they only partner whoever it's financially beneficial for them to have partnerships with, right? And so I just, when you get the manufacturers that do a really good job and the price and value is aligned well, but then they're like, oh, we decide we won't work with HomeKit because. Why? Because. Or
same thing
you
with
you have to have another
Linus's,
account.
house.
Oh,
Linus Tech
the
Tips.
Jasco lights or whatever. It's like, dude,
Whatever.
just put Shelly relays in. I don't know why he did that. It's just unnecessary. Whatever. The guy's a multimillionaire. He's probably, I don't know, a quarter billionaire at this point. I have no idea.
No.
I just, I don't know. I have no idea why he did that. He could have it would have been better for him to put some relays in. So
For the content.
yeah, I mean he is using Home Assistant. I think they're using. Jake set it up with Home Assistant, so he's setting up routines and stuff too. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So want to go through the fun stuff?
Sure. I don't have much. You have more.
Well, I only had one in Lincoln at first, and then I added more stuff. So
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
really I didn't have a lot to add this week, anyways. And any of the artists that I've already shared in the past, they're putting out new stuff, but they're not really like a new link, right? It's
mm,
just new music or it's finally they made a video to a song that they released like
yeah.
last year. So
Okay, so I got eight by Ho. I think that's how you pronounce that.
Hawks,
Hog, Hogs,
Hawks, I
and
think so.
Rosie Carney.
Yeah.
Polymatic.link /1DT for
Okay.
that one. That's some music,
Yeah.
and you have some links.
I have the only two that the three. Okay, so this one was more of I can't believe someone did this, but they did, and so I'm just sharing it. 16-bit CPU in Excel.
Very
Polyma-
long video.
Very long video. It's interesting. If look, there are people who are they're just like Excel addicts. There's so many videos on how to best do things in Excel and like, did you know you could do that kind of stuff. So anyhow,
Those people need some mental health counseling.
I know
It's not good.
as programmers, we would just like it would just be easy to program that. But polymatic.link /1DU. It's interesting, and that's why I was sharing. I saw this and I was like, oh, that's pretty neat, but also kind of like, oh boy, how much time did they have to invest to do that? A lot more than they should have. All right, so the evolution of movie backdrops. I don't know. This is sort of where you're getting into a lot of this sort of mid-journey and AI generation stuff like that. Again, kind of interesting. Is this a Vox video? It might be a Vox video. Polymatic.link /1DV. And then the last one that I have is so Bloomberg puts out this thing called Hello World, and they do this a couple times a year. It's usually put out like an hour or a couple, like a little mini series, and they break it up on YouTube. This one's a little different. This is a little bit more about green technology and stuff like that. Building the future of housing. I thought it was pretty interesting. It was a long video. Polymatic.link /1DW. So there you go.
Did you see the thing in Glasgow, the chocolate Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
I heard something was going on, but no,
Yeah.
I have not. I have not. Oh, is this one? Wait, is this the one with the weird? The guy created this.
I'm the unknown. That guy, yeah.
Okay. The one
That was so freaking weird.
that they created some kind of resort or
No, they had like so they put like an experience together, and they put stuff on the on a website, and they generated a bunch of AI stuff.
oh
AI
okay
stuff,
yeah,
and then they sold it as like being like this transformative stuff.
and
blah,
it's
blah.
like some warehouse
And it was
it's
just
the
a warehouse
lamest thing.
full of
yeah I heard
people.
about this yeah
And there were some people there that were really not enthusiastic to be there as the actors. They apparently didn't even know, and all the scripts were generated by AI. So this is like the ultimate tech bro.
yeah it's like I can make some quick money in a abandoned warehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah, I heard about this. I don't know where I heard it. I either heard it on the Daily Show or I heard it on maybe This Week Tonight or something with John Oliver or something like that. One of them. I saw it on one of those things where they cover these kind of stories.
Yeah, I think it was I think it was Wednesday. So
It was recently,
yeah,
but I can't remember the source. I saw it through one of those things.
yeah.
So.
Anyway, so next one is all about the Idris Elba Gold documentary. Folding Ideas makes very nice, like video essays. I think is the best
Yeah.
way to describe it. So he made a video about an advertisement that Idris Elba did for a gold council.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I mean, look,
the whole
actors
thing is super strange anyway.
Yeah, but actors make money one way or another. Propaganda videos.
Yeah,
Or
that's basically what it is.
Or business propaganda videos.
Yeah.
I mean, actors do that stuff all the time, right? I mean, it's just that same avenue is why you hear not Charlie Sheen, but it's Martin Sheen's voice because he has a good voice for voiceover for car commercials. It's almost the same thing. It's a job to be presented for him to act, and so, it's TV and film. you know.
Anyway, it was super strange. So that's polymatic.link/1dx for that one. And then there is Heck Divers, polymatic.link/1dy. Some gameplay footage. And then there is the easiest way to connect a used EV pack to the grid. Polymatic.link/1dz. And I want to say about this, it did not look easy. It looked like very complicated and very, very, very likely to either off yourself with the stuff.
Sure, yeah, you have to be qualified, and I think that's the only reason why any EV manufacturer isn't like, oh yeah, right to repair. It's because they know that people are going to electrocute themselves by being stupid, right?
Well, what I think they should do is make it a little bit easier to do this by making the batteries replaceable by the people themselves, so they can take the battery out and stick it into...
There are a couple businesses that are getting, when people want to dispose of the batteries, and then they're recycling them, or they're reproducing them in battery packs so that it's just a one-time connect this up solution kind of stuff. So if you're looking to recycle a battery, this is a way. There are a bunch of other people that are also producing how to add salt. Like even Anchor has a solution now. EV Echo Flow has a solution now that you can buy sort of off the shelf for a few $1,000s. You can add expandable battery systems and solar. So if that guy wanted to go buy something like that, he could spend a few $1,000s and get build himself a 38 kilowatt battery pack, literally by just dragging some stuff in and making some connections up.
I really like the 12 volt. He needed a 12 volt connector. Like he put a transformer in the wall. To power it up in a sequence, because that's anyway. Polymatic.link/1dz. Very sketchy stuff.
Yeah, what this person did was very sketchy.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if you're an electrician and you know what you're doing, and not just someone out in the woods, But that being said, there are people out in the woods who have done this really well. So if you know what you're doing, you can do that. So,
okay, Alan, where can they find you?
On the internet.
Polymatic.link/Alan for that. You can find me at Polymatic.link/John. For feedback, you can reach us at podcast@Polymatic.media. Our website is Polymatic.media. And you can find all our links. And I hope you tune in next time.